Hello, hello, it's Audrey again. Today's page I created with the November kit from Clique, which is called Swan Lake. And there is a mood board released every month, and I was inspired by this November mood board, which goes along just beautifully with the kit. So the thing that inspired me was the plaid kind of look. This is actually a cut file that comes with the kit, and instead of cutting it out, what I did is printed the PNG right on some smooth white cardstock. So I printed it in black and white, and it was just perfect. So all I'm doing here is I wanted to make the areas that were supposed to be gray. When I printed it out, I printed it kind of at a really large scale. So um, it's kind of hard to see. The black and white parts don't really make it a good gray. You see black and white. So I wanted to fill in some of those middle spots with a little bit more gray. So I'm just going through some watercolors and lightly making it a little bit more gray. So here's the photo I'm going to work with and some of the papers. A lot of these papers are from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection. And I have a piece of black cardstock and then my plaid print here that I printed out. And this is pretty much dry. It's still a little wet in a few spots, but I'm just going to cut it down to the size that I think I want it to be. I actually end up cutting it further down a lot. And you can see up there on the left, there's a tag that has the plaid print on it. And that actually comes in the die cut pack, the die cut ephemera pack from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection. And I decided to go with this black and plaid and brown look because I'm using that bare acetate that comes in the die cut pack as well. When I first saw that bear, I'm like, what in the world would I ever use a bear for? And then I remembered I have this picture of my kids when we go to the Adirondacks. We went to a place called the Wild Center, and they have this awesome kind of outdoor walk called the Wild Walk, which takes you through the tops of the treetops, and there's a huge gigantic fake tree, and you walk in the tree and here they have all these exhibits, and it's like a big spiral staircase. Anyway, at the bottom of the tree there are these cute little bears that my kids were posing with, and they were trying to be like bears in a bear's den. So perfect. I'm going to use the bear cut for that. So I'm mostly sticking with the black and white. This card that I have the photo on, that I'm kind of matting the photo on right now, that's one of the exclusive cards that come in the kit, and it's kind of like a darker green plaid. It's not black and white. It's like it picks up the green a lot in the Gather collection, but it's definitely not black and white. It also has a little tint of blue to it, so I wanted to use that blue pattern paper as well. I wanted to add some color in here. And I definitely knew I was going to take these letters, which are two-toned white and black, and put the white part of the letter on black paper, and then the black part have some type of contrast underneath that. So I'm just going to play around with this for a long time, and I'm going through it super fast because I actually really struggled layering these papers. I loved every single paper individually, and I thought every single paper individually went well with the photo, but when I started laying them together, I was just like, oh, I don't really like this so much. So actually it does kind of end up in this design, but what my problem was, I think, I didn't like the background. I mean, I love the background paper, but I didn't like the brown background with the photo and everything else. So I totally changed it up here in a minute. But this kind of layout here is pretty much the overall design that I do end up with. The bottom of my plaid paper there, you can see I cut some fringe in it. I was thinking of like a scarf, and I thought fringe would be cute, but I ended up cutting that off too. So I'm going to go back and totally change my background, and instead of that brown kind of leathery looking paper, I'm just going to go with some white cardstock and do some misting and putting some color on the background. So I've covered it over with some gesso, and I'm going to dry it up here. And I have at the top of my screen, I've pulled out a whole bunch of mists that are kind of brownish in color. So I have just a variety. I'm not sure what the names of each of these colors are, but yeah, there's a variety of manufacturers and a variety of colors and a variety of finishes. There's a shimmery one. This is a chalkboard one. So yeah, it's just a whole random assortment of brownish, grayish ones. I didn't want to add too much color to the background because again, I was kind of going with the white and black look with a little pop of a little pop of color, but I did want to bring in a tiny bit of brown. As for a contrasting color on the background here, I do end up using a little bit of the Heidi Swap Seafoam, which is kind of, you know, that light greenish blue color, because it really picked up some of the greenish blue in the papers and some of the accents that I'm going to use. So I used the packaging technique and some splatters. I'm going to go through and dry it off with my heat gun. It actually dried pretty quickly. I think it was because I didn't really pile on the water too much. I just kind of let the color do the work, so to speak. And just a couple more drops here, a little bit of black. Here comes that kind of seafoam green. And I guess I am done with that. Moving on. So I took my layers that I had made up already, and now I'm going to layer them again over the white background because it has a totally different look. And then you see here I keep cutting down that plaid. And as I was doing this, what I think the biggest trouble I was having is I wish that that plaid print that I printed on the cardstock was a little bit smaller scale. I think I lose the design a little bit because it's too big and I'm covering it up with these other papers, and so I lose the design of the plaid. And I mean, you can see it a little bit in the finished product. It isn't as much as I wanted, but you still know it's there, so I guess it's okay. So here comes that fringe off pretty much. And I did want to still bring in this brown a little bit, but now I was worried that I would be covering up all the painting I just did. And I wanted to rough up the edges of the brown. This is so weird, but so I was thinking of bears, and I'm thinking, okay, what could I do to make this page seem kind of bear-like? And I was thinking of how, like whenever you see, like, I don't know, like a ferocious animal, like on a flag or something, it has like a claw mark that looks like it's like torn through the flag. And I was trying to go for that torn, ripped paper look, you know, that a bear claw would be ripping through this paper. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I'm a little wacky, but no, but that's the kind of the things I think about, and that's how it leads to my design, I guess. So anyway, that's why I tore these papers up and kind of ripped them into strips. So I didn't like how they were going, the direction when they were going up and down. So I'm going to layer 3 of them behind the photo here, and it doesn't cover up the paint completely. It does a little bit. I wish I had more of the painting exposed in the final product, but again, it is what it is. But I definitely like the white background better than the brown background, but I'm glad I still got to incorporate some of the brown. The other thing I was wondering is if there I go, cutting down that paper even more. If I should have had the this cluster of papers here, this layering of papers flush with the top of the page, or kind of floating in there in the middle, and I just leave it like it is. So I don't really know what my problem is right now, why I cannot just make a decision and go with it. I wouldn't really call myself a big perfectionist, but sometimes if it doesn't look right, I just get so stuck and don't know how to fix it, and I just got to kind of suck it up and go with it. So I thought perhaps if I added in a little bit more color, it would help me with my with the struggles I was having with the design. So I brought in the green leaves, which I absolutely love that color green, that kind of like that Kelly green. I love that green in this kit. I wish there was more of it. In the next layout you see me do next week with this kit, I actually cut the green leaves off of all the ephemera pieces and the chipboard pieces there because I just wanted the green part so bad. But anyway, so I'm going to use those green leaves on there. I'm using these feathers from the chipboard too, and then I cut out on the top left, I did some fussy cutting of some one of the pattern papers that has like birds on it and these little branches, and the leaves were kind of a little bit yellowish, so I did a little bit of fussy cutting there because I just wanted to bring in a tiny bit of yellow. And then I added another little yellowish tag to the right as well. So notice I'm putting all of these down and I haven't actually glued anything, but now I'm kind of happy with how this is turning out. Now my title is going to be Bear With Me, so kind of like a little play on words. You know, my kids are acting bear-like, and you know, they want me to do it with them, so they're saying bear with me. So I'm going through my stash right now looking for some letters to put on that little tiny black strip because I want to put the words with me down there. And I just chose these gray letters that I have from my mind's eye. So I just stick a little bit of that little piece of black underneath there. Got my leaves clustered, and I got my bear down the bottom. And this is how the final page is going to end up looking pretty much. Now it's just a matter of going through and gluing it down. I also realized after this page, as I did in my last video, I usually stitch on my pages, and for some reason I didn't stitch on this page. I kind of forgot to do that as well. So now comes the task of me. I have everything perfectly laid out. Now let me take it all off so that I can glue everything down. So when I do this, I kind of start from the top down, and this particular time, because I had so many layers there, I just stapled it a few times so that they would stay in place, and then I do go back and add some glue. And you see how I did this, I kind of pull my layers off gently, and then you know, go to these bottom ones and glue them where they are in place. And I'm just using a tiny, tiny dab of glue because that mixed media glue I use from Thermoweb, it doesn't take much, just a little dab. Just a little dab will do ya on this page. And it's a liquid adhesive too, so you definitely don't want to use too much. I'm kind of out of the focus of the camera here, but I have distressed all the edges with my edge distressor and of the layers behind my photo, and so I've just distressed each of those separately and just going to glue that down. I think I'm going to put my title and my photo down here. I'm not sure if I do this on camera or not, but I did go back and, oh yeah, I do it on camera. I remembered the one of my very first videos, I had put something that was chipboard down and it fell off, and I realized I need to glue it down because these chipboard pieces, I don't know, you just can't trust the adhesive on them anymore because they just don't really stick that well. So I did add some glue to that, and now I'm gluing all my other little bits on. This is well, in order of my videos, this is actually the second page I did, but this is the third video that is showing that I'm showing with the kit. So I kind of did my videos out of order here, but yeah, I just love this kit so much. I actually ordered more of this paper because I love it. And one of my favorite things about this kit, which I think was a lot of people's favorite things about, well, this kit and this collection, were those leaves in the die cut pack, the ones that have the text on them, and then they are drawn with the outlines. There's a maple leaf and an oak leaf. Oh my gosh. Those are my two favorite pieces in this whole kit, and I absolutely loved them. Okay, my bear right now, I am using something from Thermoweb, and they're called sticky dots. And it's just a sheet where you peel back, a sheet covered with adhesive, and you peel the top layer back, and you put your object on it, and kind of rub it in, and the adhesive picks up. And it's great for like acetate things or things that have just so much detail that you don't want to put glue in every little bit. So I love using those sticky sheets. I added a little bit of black and white twine on my tags, and I am looking for a label to add to put for my date. So I'm going to cut out one of these little labels here. I keep a huge pile of these in my little drawer right where I scrap. You can't, it's not really in the camera view here, but I have a whole pile of those. But this is pretty much it. Now I do go back and add, actually that's where I think I am right now. I added a few strips of washi tape here and there because when you see in my the final picture of my layout, when the picture comes up at the end here, that the bear's kind of just like floating there in space, and it needed something to help ground it to the bottom of the page because it's just, like I said, it's just kind of floating there on the page. So I do add a little bit of washi tape under the bear, and the washi tape that I do add kind of picks up that seafoam and the green and the black. So I've kind of created the visual triangle with the greens in the page. Okay, so I add a label, I add my journaling, and here is the finished page. So you can see that little bit of washi tape I added at the bottom there. So I struggled a little bit at first, but I'm totally happy with the layout. I loved printing out a cut file instead of cutting it out. That was that was fun to do. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.